a state representative from Jacksonville who's running for U.S. Senate in 2026, and she's got something to say about who's actually cashing in while the rest of us are told to wait our turn. Stay with us.
Welcome to the PlanetRoq podcast, the hottest show in the cosmos. Get ready for insight and inspiration right here on PlanetRoq with your special guest, Angie Nixon, and your cosmic guide through our ever-changing space and time. I'm your host, Raquel Herring.
Before we dive in, if you care about who's actually running this country and why working people keep getting left behind, hit subscribe. We're having conversations that matter, and we'd love to have you back for the next one. And big news, I'm officially opening the door to brand ambassador opportunities and couldn't be more excited to collaborate with businesses ready to amplify their reach. If you're looking to showcase your products or services to an engaged audience on my show, let's make something powerful happen together. And now, we will not delay anymore. Let's welcome Miss Angie Nixon to PlanetRoq.
Hey y'all, hello. I'm happy to be here.
Hello, thank you so much for joining us. My goodness, I tell you, I saw you with that bullhorn at the house. I guess it was at the House of Representatives here in Florida, was it?
Yes, it was. It was in Florida, in Tallahassee.
Yes.
During our special session that basically removed congressional districts in minority communities, marginalized communities, and basically allowed it rigged maps in support of Donald Trump and the Republican Party.
My goodness. Well, when I saw that post, let me tell you, I had to share it because it's so what's happening right now, and you're out there fighting, being a voice for the people, and people need to know. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited.
Of course.
Yes, so we're going to get on into it. There's so many things going on right now politically. It's so tumultuous. We don't trust government anymore. Everything has just gone wayward. So when you talk about people power, what does that look like? Because it becomes like a phrase that people use, but I think a lot of people don't really understand what it means on a Tuesday afternoon when you're trying to organize people. What does it mean to you?
So there's two types of power. I mean, there's actually three, but for the purposes of what I'm about to say, there's two types of power that we should all know about. There's people power and there's money power. Like right now, money power is ruling the day. It's ruling our country. A lot of these greedy billionaires and corrupt corporations, they are the ones that the politicians are beholden to, right? And that is because they are the ones that are padding the campaign coffers of these elected officials, and they're able to spread their message of division and hate and all the things out there to continually get elected, right? But then there's money power, right? And I believe that money power actually beats people power any day, but it has to be organized. Organized money beats organized people, organized money any day. And so organized people is like the way in which we were able to embark on the civil rights movement and get some of our rights back then, right? Like the Montgomery bus boycott, right? Like women's rights, right? And so we have to get organized. And right now, the entire country is like reeling. We are hurting. It's a lot of chaos happening, corruption at the top. And it's really important for the people to hold elected officials accountable. Even if they don't have money right now, like the people don't have that much money right now, but we do have the power if we get out to vote. What they're banking on is us not getting out to vote. What they do is make it harder for us to vote, which is what just happened here in Florida as it relates to these illegal and unconstitutionally gerrymandered maps. that were drawn in a partisanship fashion, even after 2010, when the voters elected, like the voters voted on a constitutional amendment called fair districts, and they said that they did not want our maps to be politically gerrymandered. And the governor decided to do it anyway because he needs a job. And he's begging Trump for a job, trying to, jockey and posture himself to become the next attorney general. And so um, the issue is like they're taking our power away from us, and we don't have to cede that. We don't have to cede power to them. There's no amount of gerrymandering that could impact our community, especially on like statewide races like U.S. Senate or governor and things like that. Like if we get out to vote, there's no amount of gerrymandering that can stop us if we get out to vote. And so that is what's happening. And then on a national level, right? Like the Calais case out of Louisiana, basically the Voting Rights Act, it didn't just get weakened; it got gutted for the most part because it made it so that marginalized like minority access districts are no more, right? Like they don't have to carve out minority access districts to ensure basically Black people are able to choose who they want to represent them. And so this is a slap in the face to the civil rights movement, to voters everywhere. And we know that it is designed to take Black people's power away. And that's what's happening. Like literally, like after this case happened, after this ruling by the Supreme Court in Louisiana, they were actively voting. They were in an active election. People had cast their ballots early for different congressional seats. And the governor, after this ruling, the governor of Louisiana stopped the election, invalidated all of those votes, and are now telling people that they got to redraw the maps so that they can then vote. So, like, it's taking Black power away.
That is unbelievable. You know, when I was in school studying this, American government, gerrymandering was not supposed to be, I don't want to say legal because I don't think it was ever illegal, but it wasn't supposed to be something to use, that it was frowned upon. Redistricting. That was supposed to, now I believe that was supposed to have been illegal. And it's like all these things that were supposed to be, against the status quo, like we don't like this. It's all of it's happening. So I'm like, what are we really learning here? That you can just cross the line into being illegal and it's acceptable because just, I guess, the people who are in those positions said it's okay.
Exactly.
This is crazy to me. And why are we having to vote on this civil rights bill? This comes up at a vote, what is every 4 years? Or how often do we have to vote? We're constantly having to vote on this. Why hasn't it been a bill that is like, it's stable, it's there, it's confirmed, it's not going to be removed?
And I think it's important to know that we need to make sure that we are electing people who have our values, who see the value in having Black representation, diverse representation. And unfortunately, the president has had the opportunity to appoint people to courts that actually make rulings when certain legislation and policies are challenged in the court of law. And so, like, this is why it's very important to vote in every election, because also similarly, the executive in the state, on the state level, like, they oftentimes have the opportunity to make appointments, the executive being the governor. And that's what we've seen here in the state of Florida time and time again. Like, the governor has been able to appoint folks to the state Supreme Court or to some of the other circuit courts and things like that. And it has had a negative impact on just our quality of life. Yeah. And so it's really important, like redistricting, right? Like redistricting is normally supposed to be done here in the state of Florida the lawmakers, the legislators are the ones who are supposed to draw the maps, right? Not the governor. So number one, he violated like that in the first place. But like these lawmakers went ahead and allowed him to violate that policy, right? But it's like we don't come out in midterms to vote these lawmakers out. Like we are up for re-election every 2 years as far as being a state rep. And so are congressional members. We cannot just allow people to vote during the presidential elections. Folks have to vote during the midterms. Folks need to vote in their local elections, like all the things. Yeah. But we can't just we just can't vote. Like that's not it. Like we have to hold people accountable. We have to demand that these lawmakers like pass people's budgets and people's agendas, what it is that we want. Like we should be coming to lawmakers saying, hey, we need you to support this. We need you to do this. We need you to do this. Like coming to candidates saying, will you sign off on this? Right? Like if you don't sign off on this, I can't vote for you. Mm-hmm. Like that is how we exercise our power. And then another way we exercise our power is by the power of the purse. Mm-hmm. We need to decide, like, a lot of these corporations are funding these politicians to push harmful bills and to push bills that allow kids to go to work at a younger age because they want cheap labor, or they're pushing for politicians to not fully subsidize, not to fully resource Social Security because they want people to be working, right? Like they want all these seniors to be working until they die because they want cheap labor, right? So it's like we need to recognize that. And when we recognize that there are certain corporations that are doing these very nefarious things, we need to boycott them.
Yeah.
And get them to stop doing those things, right? Like they will understand. They will do different things if they stop getting our money.
Right.
And also we need to be intentional about like who we go, patronize. There's a lot of small businesses that support our rights not being attacked, right? They support organizations that are on the ground trying to make sure people have a voice. We need to actively patronize those businesses to make sure that they stay open and they stay like helping to fund the fight. And so those are a few of the things and suggestions I would say, because I don't want to just be critical about what's happening. I want to like offer up solutions about how we are able to change things.
Right. Yeah, we definitely need the solutions. I wish people had listened sooner because it has just gotten too far. And it seems like we should have known this information before, because we did know that the whole agenda was to move towards the corporations, the billionaires, the technocrats that are going to take over everything. I mean, I feel like this is not like we weren't without this knowledge and we didn't show up. And I'm just not sure, like when you say values and morals, those are the people that we need to vote for that have those same. Then it makes me wonder, because these people were voted in. And then it makes me wonder, what are the values and morals? Like, why did you look at who we have now and think that those were the values and morals that we should build our government on? So it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous to say, about the values and morals, because it's not looking good for people out here that these are the values and morals that they thought or seemed like we were in agreement with and voted for that. That makes me very nervous about what's coming next. Because if we haven't learned anything about values and morals at this point, I don't see how far we're going to go. That's going to be in our best interest. So we really, I think publicly, we need to fact check our values and morals before voting again, because this is not right. And I would hate to know that this is a demonstration of what we're seeing now, the values and morals of the citizens in this country. It's really sad. And I'm glad that you offered those solutions, because I think a lot of times we don't know what to do. But the goal is, now we know what to do, is getting out there and doing it, voting. Because I always say, apparently there's something to the voting if they're trying to keep you from voting. I mean, this has been a long fight since the 60s, since earlier, to now having in the 60s, getting the rights to vote that have been fought for. Our parents, grandparents, people died for this right. And for people to sit here and just go and say, well, I'm not going to vote. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's so disgusting to me to hear people say these things, because I'm like, if people are trying to keep you from voting, they're doing all redlining. I mean, not redlining, but redistricting and gerrymandering and all these different things. Don't you think that there's something to it? Because they wouldn't be doing all this if there wasn't something to it. I don't know what it is for common sense. It just sounds like common sense to me. I don't know. It's so upsetting, because to hear that news last week, I guess I could believe it, but it was very shocking for all the years. And I'm thinking maybe our people don't really understand what the fight was. Is it because you just don't want to know history? You're turning away from history. You're embarrassed by history. What is it?
Rocky, I think it is because people are so bogged down with just trying to be alive, just trying to make it. People are like, and then it's so overwhelming. We all want the same things. People want to be healthy. People want to be prosperous. People want to be safe. And right now, they got to work 2 and 3 jobs to try to get there, oftentimes. And so also, they've been lied to so many times from politicians that they just have checked out. But again, I am running for United States Senate, and I have also operated as a state lawmaker to let people know that it doesn't have to be this way. There are actual elected officials, and there are actual people who want to become elected officials and who are public servants that don't want to continue the status quo. They don't want to continue to operate the way in which we've been operating, right? Like, we deserve to live in a country where medical debt isn't the leading cause of bankruptcy, right? We deserve to live in a country where our children don't have to worry about going to school and being shot and killed because someone didn't get access to the mental health resources that they need, or because someone did not get emboldened by racist, harmful rhetoric from someone that's in leadership, right? Yeah. Like, we deserve these things, and we can have them, right? We can have universal pre-K so that our children can start school on time and not be behind and not end up in the school to prison pipeline. And then the mothers and the fathers can go to work because they can afford childcare, or because it's not or because they don't have to pay for it, right? Like, we deserve to live in a country with this. And we can't keep allowing them to tell us that there's not enough money for it.
Right.
We got money. They spending nearly $2 billion on a war that no one asked for. Where does money come from? Right? Yes. Like, this money that they always talk about not having, we can have more of it if we tax the billionaires. And they would, guess what? They would still be billionaires if we tax them. Right? Yes. If we close these corporate tax loopholes. People should not be able to get tax breaks just because they can afford to buy a jet and a yacht. Like, what? Like, what?
More reasons to be taxed.
Exactly. 88 companies made over $105 billion, and they didn't pay any federal taxes. That is wild to me. And it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. Well, you think this information would galvanize people to get to the voting booths? I really pray it does, because we definitely have to have a change. I don't know how we're going to make it 2 more years. I don't know how that's going to happen. We have a president that talked about, third world countries are, S-hole countries, and yet we're falling into the same boat. So I'm not sure what people's values and morals really are. I hope it is better than what we've seen our representatives demonstrate after having been voted in.
Exactly.
You spent years as a union organizer and running Florida for All, registering tens of thousands of new voters. Can you talk about what you learned in that work that made you decide you needed to run for the U.S. Senate?
Yeah, so what I learned in this work is that we need someone that believes fully in collaborative governance. Like that it is not governance that works with and in tandem with corrupt corporations and greedy billionaires, but it is a collaborative government that works for just regular everyday people. I believe that hardworking everyday folks should get to determine what their communities look like and what their economies look like.
Sure.
What we are seeing right now is the people that are determining that are greedy billionaires who are donating to politicians to continue to push back the age of Social Security, to continue to make sure that Medicare is not fully funded the way in which it needs to be fully funded, who are allowing the weakening of child labor laws and labor laws in general.
Right.
And they're doing this again because they want cheap labor.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's all about. They want to make more money.
Right. I hope when people hear this, they really hear like what will happen if they don't get out there. I mean, they've already put the law in, 14 years old to be out there in the fields working. I mean, like, like you said, pushing the age further and further to like into the 70s, getting closer and closer to like how old are you going to have people working? This was set up so people could retire, so people work, and they can retire and then enjoy the rest of their life. And now you want to take that from people. I hope people are really listening to see what happens on the wrong side of this. We should see it by now, but maybe they don't understand how far it can go to really make life miserable. It doesn't have to be. And this is the time that can now change it because you've gotten a taste of it. No, now let's do something about it.
Yeah.
When you're out organizing, what's the number one thing you hear from people?
It costs so much money to be alive. Just to be alive. As soon as a baby is born, it's an immediate deficit. Like it costs money just to be alive, right? Like, and even think about it, like even individuals who may happen to be homeless, like it's illegal to be homeless. Basically, they have criminalized homelessness. You cannot legally like sleep on public property in the state of Florida. You can get arrested. And so you mean to tell me that these companies, they have okayed these companies to not pay us living wages. They refuse to increase the minimum wage federally. The minimum wage is $7.25 federally. It's set to hit $15 an hour in September here in the state of Florida. However, even my colleagues in the state legislature, one of them said that the American dream is being destroyed because we're going to have to pay people $15 an hour. And so they passed the bill to be able to, again, go against what the voters voted for, which was increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour. They passed the bill to allow people to sign their rights away if they want a job. And they can then get paid $7.25 an hour. Up to 9 months if it's a work-based learning job. But every job you start is work-based learning. You have to go to training. So they can literally pay people $7.25. They can force people to sign something or not get a job. And then we're in an at-will state, so they can actually fire people and then like rehire people at 725 to take those folks' place, and then fire them again and rehire more people at 725. And
My
it's
God.
just, it is, yes, my gosh, like it is crazy.
You know, every time you say something, it's a new like hole to fall in. And I'm like, these ditches are being created, and I'm like, are people listening? It's like you're working and working and working and working. You said that people say that they can hardly stay alive
Yeah,
because it costs
people,
so much. But this can change by going to vote for people who really do share your values and morals. We should see by now who doesn't.
right,
This
right.
can't not be like inconspicuous. They're putting it on display to say we don't care about you and don't like you.
That
We
part,
only
that
care about
part.
the billionaires. And this goes across the board because some people think they're going to be protected, but they're not protected. They should know by now. We can see the farmers. We should know that it's coming for everybody except the billionaires. Ugh, I don't know.
Exactly, exactly.
You touched a little bit on the redistricting, which, you know, like I said, I thought that it was illegal. Apparently, it's not. I guess it's illegal for certain, you know,
It's supposed to be illegal certain ways that you do it, right? Like if you're doing it in a way that's going to benefit your party, or to crack minority access districts. Well, now you can crack minority access districts because they're saying you're not supposed to have those anymore. So,
oh
yeah,
my goodness. Yeah, and then you don't have to prove anything anymore. Even if someone comes with a grievance, it's like, this is what it is.
yeah,
That's crazy.
it's sad, but again, Rocky, like it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah, it does
It
not.
doesn't have to be this way.
Perhaps maybe explain it. And I know people have been told it over and over again. But how does the redistricting become a tool for silencing voters, DeSantis's unfair voting maps, and why this is about democracy itself? Now, we talked about this in the beginning. You said stuff, but maybe people need to hear it again to really understand the fullness of the issues that are going to occur if you don't stand up and do something about it. You led the resistance to DeSantis's unfair maps in the state house. I saw you. I was like, oh my gosh, I have got to share that because people need to know. Walk me through what he did and why it matters beyond politics.
Yeah, for sure. So he basically removed 4 Democratic seats and changed them, made them basically cut it so that it cracks communities. Like for instance, in East Tampa is a black area, and they were able to vote. All of those black people were able to vote in one district. After this new map comes out, it just was voted into law. They cracked it, like they split up that one black community amongst 3 districts, so that dilutes their voting power because it's less of them to be able to vote together, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so he basically, even before he gave us the maps to see as lawmakers, he sent it to Fox News. And then they color coded it blue and red so you can see how many seats that were blue that were now turned to red. So clearly it was partisan.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for black people? That means that it is going to be harder for us to elect someone that we want, our elected official of choice. You know, I know black people are not a monolith, but like we oftentimes vote the same way because we try to vote for someone that understands and recognizes the issues that are in the black community, and how we are oftentimes like facing a lot of disparities.
Mm-hmm.
And um and so what that means is that we won't be able to get funding for certain initiatives that could possibly help black people, right? that means that it means what happened to me, like what happened to us in Jacksonville when we got that black congressional district removed unconstitutionally by Ron DeSantis. I can count on one hand how many times, even as a lawmaker, that I have seen or heard from my congressional member because white guy that does not understand our community, right?
Right.
And it's going to impact funding for our communities. It's going to impact just the overall quality of life. You may not be able to talk to them or get them on the phone or get them to answer emails because they feel like they don't have to answer to you because you ain't voted for them. You didn't want them in the first place. And so,
and your vote don't count.
Right. It's a lose-lose.
Now when the black people say your vote don't count, now you're about to have a vote that really doesn't count if you don't get out there and make it count.
Right. And like we got to get more people to get engaged and to go out and vote. There's too many people that are registered that don't. And I get it, some folks just, again, they feel like people have lied to them and all the things. But I want folks to know, like, I'm very accessible and ethical and someone that they can trust. And they should really lean on me. Like, I would love their support because I believe in collaborative co-governance. And that's why I'm running for U.S. Senate.
Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about the major grocery chain that was trying to price gouge. Tell that story. What happened? How did you do it? And what did it teach you about corporate power in the state of Florida?
So I was getting tagged on social media and receiving a few calls about the different prices in certain communities as it relates to other more affluent areas. And what I realized was that in these lower income and some of these hardworking middle class income communities, their cost of their goods were much higher than in more affluent areas. And so this was a very big box store, and I will not say the name. If you request public records, you will find out the name. And so, like, I called at first I went to the store manager and then I asked them to like put me in contact with their regional or area manager, and they did. And I was told that, that it's like that because of the competition in the surrounding stores. And I said, I think that's BS because the only place where it's more expensive is these communities, right? Everywhere else, it's the same price and it's lower. So you cannot don't lie to me about that. And so they gave me the runaround. They said they couldn't change it. They kept saying that, and then finally I said, "Look here." I said, not only am I an elected official, I said I am a community organizer. If you do not want hundreds of people on your property protesting your prices, if you do not want me to go to the media with this, then you will correct this. Then he was like, "Oh, I need to get my answer. I'm gonna connect you to general counsel and all these things." And so the general counsel called me. I missed a call. I tried to call her back, and then I sent some very strongly worded emails. It was crazy because Rocky, they were charging people $3 and $4 more for certain products. That adds up to thousands of dollars a year.
Shoot.
And so I was like, nah, we not. I was like, we're not gonna do that. We are not gonna do that.
Thank you for fighting. I'm grateful. Like, again, when I saw that video, I was grateful to see you fighting. Like, you're like, I'm not gonna sit down and take this because it's affecting people, and people, whether they really believe it or not, They really need someone out there fighting for them. This is what we vote for. We vote for people to be in positions to fight for our best interests as a majority being citizens, not the minority being corporations. And I'm really hoping people will understand this because you still have a voice. Even if we don't have the billions of dollars like corporations do, we're still collectively, we have billions of dollars to stop the foolishness from happening if we put forth the effort and take an interest and get galvanized to say no more. You're out of there. If you can't represent me properly, then you're out of there. You want to represent corporations, then go somewhere else and represent them, but it's not going to be here. That's how we need to get. That's what I think. I don't know. I'm not a politician. So, we're not in those rooms. When you're in Tallahassee, who's actually in the room fighting for working people's wages and costs? Like, who's in there? Because you have those on the opposite side, and who's helping to make this fight happen? Because we need to be voting for people who really want to fight for us.
Yeah, I would say I am one of them. But then we have folks like Rep. Rayner and Rep. Ashley Gann, Senator Lavon Bracey Davis, Senator Tracy Davis. Like, I would say, like, a lot of it is a lot of the Black women that are leading the charge.
Wow.
And, they're the ones who are continually standing up, pushing back, speaking out against a lot of the bad bills.
And then the ones fighting against it, well, we know. Stop.
Well, you know who they are.
The usual suspects. Okay. You expanded childcare for thousands of families.
Okay.
Why is that a people power issue? Why does childcare matter in a conversation about corporate capture?
Yeah, so childcare matters in the conversation because, number one, too often our children are starting behind because they didn't go to an early child care facility that taught them some basic things. And we want our kids to start on time, because if they don't start on time, that ushers them into the school to prison pipeline. But then it also, like, it helps parents go to work, be able to go to work. I have spoken with so many families, and there's sometimes, like, they have little babies, and there's a parent that wants to work, but they have to stay home because it's cheaper just to stay home and keep the kid than it is for them to work. And then a lot of them don't even have backgrounds in, like, education. Y'all know how hard it was to teach our kids during COVID. Like, some of us are blessed with to be educators, right? Some of us are not. Like, I am not blessed to be an educator. I am blessed to supplement the education that my child gets from people who went to school to become educators and, like, tell me what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like, that is what needs to happen. And it would make sense for, like, these corporations to support this, but many of them don't, because they want our children in the school to prison pipeline because they make more money off of them going to prison and to be free labor for them, because a lot of them contract out to private prisons.
Please tell us about that, because in our community, maybe we don't understand how this is working, how you are, like, the 14th Amendment. That's like the first part of the 14th Amendment, that you become a servitude, involuntary servitude, once you have, they say you committed a crime or whatever. Involuntary servitude. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe people are not getting what that means. Can you please explain just what you said? Please, let's go a little deeper about how this pipeline plays out.
Yeah, so there's these things called private prisons, and I mean, corporations can go into contracts with prisons that aren't for profit, right? But basically, there are for-profit prisons that go into contracts with state governments and say, hey, I need you to operate this prison, right? But a lot of the contracts they go into, they have these things called occupancy quotas, where these companies and corporations say, these for-profit prisons say, hey, you gotta make sure that these prisons are 97%, 98% full. How do you do that, right? Like, lawmakers pass bills that disproportionately impact people of color, low income people. They enhance penalties so that people can like wind up going to jail and prison. Like here in the state of Florida a few years ago, they passed it and made it so that if someone steals over $40 worth of a product or something off of someone's porch, you are now going to be a felon. You know, a box of diapers costs over $40.
Wow.
So I can see a mom that's struggling, you know, walking her kid down the street. She see a box of diapers on somebody's porch, like she's struggling. What does she? She takes those diapers and gets caught. Now she's a felon, right? And may not be able to raise her child for years. And so it is it's crazy. And so then, you know, the folks that are in jail, like, oh, you want to go outside? You want to get some fresh air? You can, but you're gonna have to work, right? Like, I might pay you 50 cents an hour. I might pay you $1 an hour. I might not pay you anything if you want to get some fresh air. And so, like, it's a racket, and it's but these corporations, like, they contract with these prisons to get labor to like help do some of the jobs that they need them to do. So some of the things that may be outside, right? Or go south. Or some of building some of the things, sewing some of the things, whatever it is, like that is sometimes what happens.
My goodness. So they set up the system to make sure you can't get paid enough to live. What happens then? You're trying to do whatever you can to survive. Then they push
Exactly.
you to stealing. So this is like a road that they're pushing you. And they always like to say, oh no one's doing this. Everyone has the same opportunity. That's nothing but a lie from the pits of
Exactly.
hate. To say something so ignorant, to think that other people are going to believe that. And unfortunately, some people do. But so they're making a way for you to go. Make sure you can't afford to live. Then you steal. Then you're caught in the system now, $40. Now you're a felon. You didn't want to steal in the first place. But what were you going to do? You're trying to survive. Then it causes problems for everybody. Then it puts everybody into a tumultuous situation. And now you have this person who's in prison now. And now they're being slave labor, because that's basically what it is.
Yeah. Modern day slavery. Correct.
My gosh. Well, we talked about the politics, but I want people to know you. And I know we're cutting in on time, but I really want people to know who you are, because this is where values and morals come from. And maybe they can actually hear the difference.
Yeah.
So they
So
won't.
for sure. So I am born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. I know folks hear this drawl. My family comes from Southern Georgia.
Okay.
And this drawl is thick. And it gets even thicker when I'm around more folks that come from Georgia, right? And so I'm a wife, I'm a mother of 5, and I am someone who experienced domestic violence in my family, and like seeing my dad harm my mom at a very young age. And so I've always disliked bullies, and that is like my North Star, is fighting bullies who try to harm us and harm our communities, because I just believe we deserve so much more. I also opened up a bookstore. They banned books and the teaching of true Black history in our state. I opened up a banned bookstore that actually offers free Black history lessons twice a month. We also serve as a food desert. I'm sorry, we don't serve as a food desert. We are addressing food insecurity in the food deserts in the community. We offer free, not we offer a free pantry that people can come in and place stuff in and take stuff out. Um, we are a third space. We host mental health workshops all the time, free tutoring, free music lessons. It's just a safe space for people to go to when they're feeling down and just need like some upliftment. And like people come and just hang out. And that's a little bit about me. So
Well, with your mother, I mean, she worked 2 jobs. You were being bussed across town. You lost your cousin to gun violence. You know,
exactly. And so like a lot of the issues that I grew up with, or a lot of the pain that I've experienced, like that motivates me to be the type of legislator that I am.
yeah,
That is why I push for bills that actually have a positive impact on our communities, right? And so, like, that is the type of lawmaker that I will be when I become the next United States Senator from the state of Florida. And so, it's just really important for people to know, like, that everything that's happening right now and how we are in this world, it doesn't have to be this way. We just have to like lean in and vote for the right people and organize and make sure people are holding them accountable like year round, not just during election season, but year round.
right. Well, you're doing great things because, like, you're not only talking about it, you're doing it. So you're fighting bullies, and at the same time, you're creating safe spaces to protect people from the bullies. And I love that because you're doing the work. And that's what people need to understand. There's a difference between talking about some work and doing the work. You're creating safe spaces. You're fighting price gougers. You're fighting governors who are trying to, disproportionately black us out.
Yeah,
Like, really
for
black
sure.
us out.
For sure. And there's a ton of us that are doing this, right? And so I believe, again, if we like start electing hardworking, everyday people to office, they can shape our economies and our communities instead of allowing these greedy people up here to do it. So we can change. We can change things.
And I think this is the difference too when we have people that represent us, like you said, that know about our lives, that we see ourselves in them, they see themselves in us. Because who can fight for you better if they don't know you? They know you. This is someone who can fight for that. You've had the same experience, your mother being bused. I mean, you've had these experiences. Being a mother, you have the experience. You know the education. I mean, you talked about education a moment ago, and it's so crazy because on the show POV that I do, we talked about a school in Philadelphia where these kids they're seniors, and this is a preparatory school. And the young man who put the video on, apparently he's a good student. He has the GPA that would say that he understands these words. And these kids at his level, senior, did not understand how to say silhouette. They didn't even know what it meant. They didn't understand gauche. They couldn't say it. They didn't know what it meant. And they're seniors in a prep school. And we're wondering what in the world has happened. Why have these children been failed by a system that was supposed to teach them how to come out and operate in this world? And what did it teach them? They don't know basic words. So, I mean, it's people like you that we need, who have been there, who understands what, we see ourselves, what we need. We see ourselves in you, you see yourself in us, and you out there fighting for it. It's very important, and I really hope people understand this. Well, we talked about a lot. You are running for U.S. Senate. That is such a big deal. I am so excited that you came on my show to talk about this with us. What are your plans when you get in there? What are the initiatives that you like? I want to make sure I see these things happen.
So when I become the next United States Senator, I would be pushing towards addressing the healthcare crisis. Right now, they did not extend the ACA subsidies, and so everybody's premiums went up. A lot of people dropped their healthcare coverage because they couldn't afford it anymore through the ACA marketplace. And so I want to push to open, to extend the subsidies so that we can demand the health insurance companies reopen enrollment, so that they can actually drive down these premium costs. And then we like get to work and like reform the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, and then figure out where we can get all the money that we need to push for Medicare for all. Like that's number one priority. Number two, I'm a mom of a 5-year-old, and I'm paying $1,000 a month just for her to be in VPK because she has a late birthday, and that's a lot. But I also had a friend that's lived in Boston, and her son, when he was on the newer born side, she was paying $4,500 a month. And so that is not sustainable.
No.
I think that we should cap childcare costs at $10 a day. And I also think we should be pushing towards universal childcare so that children can go to school on time, and so that parents can go to work, and they also don't have to worry about like going into their savings to make sure that their child has a good quality early childhood education. And so those are some of the things that I would be pushing for.
Yes, absolutely. And what about like partisanship or bipartisanship? Because I know you got to work across the aisle. And some people are so stuck on being partisan, they're not understanding that.
Yeah, so let's be clear, right? Like I believe you need to work across the aisle, of course, but I also know like that we can't sit here and deny that many leaders in the Republican Party that are elected officials are not operating in good faith. They are not good adversaries. They're not operating in good faith, and they don't want to work in a bipartisan fashion. They want to harm people. It's really hard to work with people who are actively trying to destroy your communities. Like they don't want to work with you.
Right.
And so we need to send people to DC with a backbone.
Yeah.
Too often we have seen members of my party that are Democrats that have not had a backbone, and they're trying to toe the line, and they have voted in ways that are detrimental to our communities.
Yes.
Especially in the United States Senate, specifically, I'm talking about like folks like John Fetterman, right? Chuck Schumer, even, who is the head of the Democratic caucus, Senate caucus, right? And we don't need that. We need to elect people who are unapologetic about looking out for people. And let me be clear, I am a state rep who represents not only Democrats, I represent Republicans, NPAs, I represent people who don't even vote, people who can't vote.
Thank you.
And we need to start sending people who gonna do right by people to DC, to Tallahassee, to these county commissions and mayor's offices and city councils, and then we wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah.
And so that is why I'm running. I have a primary August 18th. I am not the establishment pick, even though I am the only one that has been, and I don't want to be the establishment pick, but some of the Democratic leaders are not supportive of me because I am not okay with the status quo. And I am someone who they cannot control because I only answer to the people. Do I believe in being a team player? Absolutely. But you can't tell me that we are a good team if we are pushing for policies that harm our communities and our constituents.
Yeah.
And so I will not be a team player if they want me to push policies that harm our communities.
Absolutely.
And so I would love for folks to support me. A lot of folks are saying I can't win as a Black woman statewide, but I believe everything is impossible until it's not.
Right.
And I also believe that we've tried what other folks have, like my opponent have tried before, and we've lost, continually lost. And so I think folks should vote for me because I am different, right? Like I'm going out talking to people. I'm from this community. Um, my primary opponent just moved here 3 years ago out of the state, and does not know the state, is not actively going into the communities, but he has a lot of money because he has high profile name ID based on what he did as a lieutenant colonel. And I thank him for his service, but he's failed to even talk about the Voting Rights Act and how that's going to negatively impact Black communities. He's failed to do so much and stand up for so many people that are being attacked. And so I'm concerned if you failing to do that as a candidate right now, or even before you were a candidate, like how are you going to show up as a senator?
Right. You just floating through, being protected and funded by the establishment. And if people are tired of the establishment and this status quo as it is at this point, change it.
Exactly.
That's what you can do, and you change it with the vote. I mean, I would think, wouldn't people rather be at the booths fighting with the vote than having to be in the streets? Why would you need to be in the streets? It's already been done for you, so you won't have to do it. Get out and vote.
Exactly.
Well, I had so many more questions, but I don't want to take any more of your time. I know you got big things to do because
I'm sure. So I just want to say, thank you for having me. I would love for people to follow my page and all my social media, Angie for FL, Angie for Florida. Go to my website, angienixon.com. We need volunteers. We need donations if folks can help us. And I just really need people to continue to spread the word about the fact that I am in this race here in the state of Florida.
Yes. I mean, did you want to talk about, because I did have the question about how much it costs to fund a Senate, a Senate ticket to do this race?
Oh, it's a multi-million-dollar race. And so I need all the money that I can get.
Absolutely. And when you do these, when they're doing these races, because like we talked about the establishment, where's all this money going? I think that's something we want to know too.
So the money goes toward, like, the money for my campaign goes towards paying organizers to help organize a community and go out and knock on doors and make phone calls. It goes towards paying for digital ads and commercials and radio ads. It goes towards paying for the campaign literature we got to pay for. It goes towards my gas. The state of Florida is big. It goes towards security, like paying for security for me every now and then when certain locations that I go to. But mostly it's like going back to like direct voter contact and trying to let people learn who I am, and that costs money.
Yeah, to get the word out, to get people to see you. I know I was thinking about that this morning. For people to see you, you have to have the money to be able to put out there so people can see you and know who you are and what you stand for, and they can get behind that. But if they can't see you, how do they get behind? So we have to even help, where the money may be a deficit. We need to help get the word out for people who are going to fight for us. That's part of the job of us wanting something better. Angie Nixon, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the work that you're doing. That's Angie Nixon. She's running for U.S. Senate in Florida in 2026. If you want to learn more, follow her. Get involved. The links are in the description. Thanks for being here on PlanetRoq, and thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with another conversation that matters. Take care.